Welcome to Rauta's non-metal reviews. This time we have something special from Australia. And when I say special, I really mean the package, but also the music. First, let's unpouch this. Obviously, for listening purposes, I have already gotten this out. And by the way, these are hand-numbered copies, so thanks to the label for sending this for review. So for review purposes, I obviously had the CD out already, but I put it back like it was, so you know what's inside. Now it feels very empty, so I don't think there is anything else hidden. But comes with a pin, something that I didn't notice when I was taking the CD out, a sticker and a patch for those who are a true fans of the band or artist known as Legion Ritualis. Musically, this is pretty interesting. It's a combination of various genres. Mostly this Australian duo is labeled as martial industrial, which is definitely the vibe I'm getting from this. And by the way, this is released by Brümes, which is a sub-label of Gladivs. So musically, this is mostly martial industrial, and that already puts you in some kind of a box. But there is more than that. There are tags like, and this is what I like with Bandcamp, rather than using genre names, it's tags. So tags are here used as dark wave and I think modern classical music, and roughly that is the idea. However, this also used or mentioned this tag black metal, which is a little bit present, but to be honest, it could be just metal, because while there is guitar in the play, I wouldn't really consider it like black metal. After all, black metal is way more than just letting your guitars ring or sound, and these are not exactly riffs, more like a manifestation of atmospheric parts. So here you have how the packaging looks like and what's the lyrical content and all. Let's tune in for the band's, or actually labels, Bandcamp site for this particular album, Rites of Futility. So as mentioned, if we scroll down, you will get the basic information, and these are the dark wave, gothic, martial industrial, neo-folk, neoclassical, and France is here pointing to the label, not the artists themselves. Their own Bandcamp actually points to Melbourne, and it is indeed Australian act. This was released in January 25, and here are mentioned like palpable and recognizable influences like the moon lay hidden beneath the cloud, in Slaughter Natives, and Christian Death. Now, I'm being fully honest here. I only know those by name, never actually listened to them, except maybe Moonlay back in the days, but don't really have, you know, the memories to stick into, so I would like, yeah, this is related to this and that. So for me, it's more like coming from a very virgin territory. I've obviously been listening to casually martial industrial already since I think late 90s, but it's always been more casual to me, so I'm not an expert of this, knowing a lot of names, so I'm not gonna drop these names. I'm just pointing out to what other people have compared this to. But calling it martial industrial probably gives you about 50-60% of the idea what's going on here, because that's very much what this is based on. That is rhythmic patterns in a very martial fashion. You get that martial feeling throughout the whole album, but there are parts where it gets kind of like fades into the background. For example, when there are these more clean female vocals and, you know, guitars coming a little bit into play, it's kind of a fading onto the background. Then it kind of comes back and goes away again. And that's where you get this more, say, gothic dark wave thing going on. Some parts are like going away into a different direction. It's almost like flowing between these so-called cold meat industry acts. And as such, it's pretty interesting hybrid. Consider like this, whereas a lot of extreme metal bands step out sometimes their territories in black metal or death metal and go like death black or death thrash, black thrash, what have you. This is similar in fashion, that it doesn't just stay inside one given box, but goes outside the typical territories, and as such the result is rather uncommon. I don't know if it's really unique. Like I said, I'm too casual to comment on that, but it's not typical, at least in my experience, that you go from one genre to another and then come back. So when these more dark wave or neoclassical ideas come into play, it's almost like a momentum shift in the sense that the martial artness kind of goes into the background, or more like just fades away a little bit. And that's where you get this more kind of a soundscape like of a thing. I mean soundtrack really. And that's where this kind of makes rather lively. So there is this constant flow going on, and it doesn't just, you know, stop. Like so many albums there are in the world, doesn't matter which genre we're talking about, they figure like one thing and then they stick to that one pony only, or sticking to their guns like the saying goes. And this can be both a good and a bad thing. It depends once again on the given audience. Some people will like it. Yeah, just stick to your guns, don't go outside your given territory, and it's all good. We don't want to experimenting you too much. But for that part of the audience which really likes that, you know, you should be able to just go outside the borders, break those boundaries. Religion Ritualis is exactly that. So it's a little bit hard cookie to crack in that sense. It depends on your expectations once again. If you're looking just what very, very black and white, martial industrial kind of a take on the music, this might be a slight disappointment. I mean, it does that part very well, but like I said, it goes beyond those territory lines, and as such, it really can be maybe not disturbing, but a little bit like peculiar. Like, what the hell are these guys doing? But I think it's a genre. We're anyway talking about niche kind of stuff. And I think a lot of people are more open-minded. So it doesn't matter if you go from, say, dark wave to martial industrial, if you go from ambient to power electronics and noise. So in that respect, I don't know if it really matters that much. I'm probably thinking this from a point of view coming from mostly a metalhead kind of a thing. So whereas I would be more like a pure blood, stick to your genre kind of a thing, when we are going to these kind of marginal subgenres of music, yeah, it's more tend to be kind of open-minded. Whatever there is can be very, very interesting, even if it crosses some lines here. So maybe a kind of a crossover thing in that sense. But like I said, give it a go. Always don't trust my word blindly, because that's kind of silly. And obviously this is available on both the label Bandcamp as well as the artist Bandcamp. And if you want something special, go for the physical products. I don't know how many copies of these limited editions are out there by the time this video comes out, but keep your eyes and ears peeled for this project. It's interesting to say the least, so enjoy.